So what better time to start a vlog series on gardening than the middle of a global pandemic? I've been thinking about making videos for years, and now that I'm finally in a spot that I can put a garden together, I wanted to make some videos, but I guess the state of the world is conducive to, if you're staying home for a couple of, we'll say weeks, but it's probably more like months. You probably want to have some good hobbies that you can do on your own, like folding strange origami critters or working on getting your painting skills up from drawing stick figures to maybe an animal that sort of resembles a horse. You're joining me for my bowl of spicy seafood ramen. Through that bright door is my future garden. I've just in the past, I want to say 2 weeks, there were some trees hitting my septic system, which I figured out because I wanted somebody to come out to size my septic system for me, and we found some nice elm roots growing into a distro box. I never knew what a septic system looked like, but apparently it's a tank, and then it goes to a tube, and then there's a distribution box, and then the pipes go out of that, and that's where your leach field is. So I have a rough idea of where the septic is. I still need them to size it out. A lot of their people are out this week. Understandably, they're supposed to swing by today. They've moved it to Friday. So I had to go back and get the trees cut before I could get the septic fixed up. Once they found that, I've just had a company come through, and we were laughing about it because it was pretty much all of the trees in my yard except for like 3. Because they were either hitting the septic system, or on the fence line, and one of them I feel kind of bad because it was healthy and maybe it could have stayed, but it was sort of on the fence line, a black walnut. Now, the squirrels were probably sad that I got that taken down. I'm gonna have it turned into a nice desk, but you can't grow anything near that, and I'm looking to be as self-sustainable as possible growing food forever, because the things at the grocery store don't taste right. Also, all of the Listeria, E. coli, and everything else outbreaks that we've been having, I already take enough Prilosec. I don't need to take more stomach meds. And I just really like gardening. So I'm gonna have the septic system fixed this Friday. After that, I can finally schedule putting up a fence. I'm gonna put up a nice big tall privacy fence because through my backyard, apparently there's gonna be a bunch of houses that are gonna be built in that field back there. I'm kind of unhappy about that. I wish I'd known before I moved in, but such is life. So I think I'm aiming for a 6-foot cedar fence because I want to look at pretty flowers and not lots of other people, especially if I think they said something like 20 family homes are going back there on ridiculously small sized lots. So I also don't want my food to be somebody's walkway as a shortcut through my backyard. And also to keep the deer out. So I've seen deer, foxes, rabbits, the pest guys who came to get the groundhogs out from under my house. Obviously groundhogs. They also said they found and trapped a possum and some skunks. And there's tons of birds. The people who lived here before me had lots of bird feeders up, so I'm currently fighting the amaranths. I found myself a nice super sharp serrated Japanese sickle online, which cuts through it like butter. It pleases me. I'm thinking about getting a scythe. I don't know if I'll actually do it. So yeah, I don't want to be sharing my food with all those nice critters. I've gotten they're 8 foot by 4 foot by 10 inch deep raised beds. So I got 4 of those, and I think they're probably pine. I got myself some juniper based sealant to put on those, but the company for the sealant might actually be closed for business for a couple of weeks right now, understandably, given the pandemic. Almost everything else is off of Amazon because they're doing really great on keeping up with everybody is at home and currently ordering all of the things. So also 2 4-foot by 4-foot cedar beds. I think they're also in the 10 to 12 inch deep range. The cedar, I figure I'll plant the things that will keep for a long time. I started some seedlings about 2.5 weeks ago. I'll show you those. So there's some things that are more of the perennial range rather than the annual range that I'm hoping to keep. And there's also stuff that should be coming in the next couple of weeks, and there's also other stuff that I haven't ordered yet because my eyes are bigger than my stomach. I just ordered a ton of soil and soil-like things on Amazon too. I'm so broke, but instead of getting a top fill or soil from one of those like yard hole filling, they'll give it to you by the dumpster full sites. I decided to order some of the fancier stuff online, like by the bag full, that costs an arm and a leg, but I figure if I'm eating whatever was in it, I probably want to start with something that's medium to high quality. And then considering I got myself a nice composter for the upcoming year, hopefully in the next year I can turn that into more good soil for upcoming year's gardens. And also from getting the trees taken down, I told them, leave me the chips. So I have a mountain of chips in my yard that I've moved half of because they put it at the end of my driveway, which was nice of them, but I had to move half of it because I kind of want the fence to go through there too. So half of it is in front of the shed, half of it is behind the shed. We'll see if I have to move more for the fence or not. So I'll use that for the pathways around the raised beds, but also I think I'll probably end up just decomposing, aka rotting, half of it to make soil for the next year because why not? Especially considering it's local, it's used up whatever was in the soil here, so it'll put back what was in the soil, which I think is good. So I think that's my thoughts on the subject right now. I have an orchid blooming, another one that's going to bloom soon. My carnivorous plants still kind of look like trash since the cross-country trip in a very large SUV right before Christmas. So it's about 4 months now, and they did really poorly for the first month or two. I thought I could get away, like in San Diego, with not having supplemental light. I gave up on that, and I got some of those cheap aluminum bell or whatever they are, right, from Home Depot, but it's from Amazon because it was cheaper. So I got a couple of those bells. I still had 4 CFLs that I brought over with me. I think most of them are in the daylight spectrum. They're all I think they're 26 watt CFLs, the roughly 100 watt equivalents, because I wanted to use at least some of those to make sure the temperature was definitely climbing in that small room during the daytime to give the Highlanders a daytime, nighttime temperature differential. The HVAC system in my house is actually, I'm really glad that they installed one that's pretty easy to use and you can set different day-night temperatures, even though for a couple weeks in there, I think it kind of ate itself. Because I think I saw a reset message in there somewhere, and I think that might be the reason that I lost the Dubia and Caniana, which I'm kind of sad about. But Dubia looked kind of bad, and I only had the Caniana for like a month or two, so fine. And then the rest of it is I managed to finally buy some white LED panels so I don't look like a pot grower. And those are working out pretty good. I just used simple C hooks to put them into the ceiling. And then I accidentally bought the Burple LED panel. They were cheap, so fine. And then from the same company, because I needed a couple more panels for some of the seedlings that I was starting, they have also one that's kind of an orange color. So I bought a couple of those, and I'm seeing how they turn out. The tomatoes seem to be doing okay under them, so fine. As long as nothing is actively dying, it's successful. Like with scuba diving. If everybody successfully walks out of the ocean, then it was a successful scuba dive. I think I'm killing one of the dwarf mangoes that I got in, so I'm glad I didn't get more plants at that time. I gotta hold off buying things. The temperate's fine, but the tropicals I'm gonna hold off for a little bit longer because I have goals to set up a greenhouse. Hopefully I can do that this year, but if things hold okay where I have all the Nepenthes right now, I'm pretty sure I could hold them in there for, you know, a year and a half instead of half a year, even though I'm pretty sure that I'm going to start getting worried about humidity problems, but we'll see if that's actually a problem or not. And the cat is actually doing pretty great for staying away from the plants. He hasn't chewed on anything. The only thing that he does is try to drink up the water in the saucer for the dragon fruit cactuses, which I'm trying to get him to not do. But otherwise, he doesn't touch the plants at all. Everybody's always talking about how their cats eat their plants, but I've never had that experience with any of my own cats. So maybe they know. So I think the next time it'll be a walkthrough of what plants I do have, and I'll get back to my delicious pandemic rationing ramen. Bye.